Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's Lean Publishing tip of the day, where I'm going to be talking about our first day of Leanpub Events, which is happening tomorrow on Saturday, May 2nd. We're going to be hosting two workshops, the book workshop and the GhostAI workshop. And you can register for both together for the full day workshop with the full day workshop seat. So I'm going to be talking about both of those workshops and the full day workshop registration today. Before we get going, as always, there's an accompanying blog post. Let me see if I can just put a finishing touch on it here while we're going live. There we go. Let's see. Uh, Typically, we start at the 2-minute mark just to give people time to join. And so, of course, for people who are watching the recording, which is most people who will watch this, so you can just jump to the 2-minute mark and get past all my housekeeping. Let's just update this blog post here with the image. There we go. Okay, cool. So jump to the 2-minute mark if you're watching the recording and you want to get past all this housekeeping. There's a blog post that goes along with each one of these Lean Publishing tips of the day that you can find on our blog at leanpub.com/blog. If you don't see the blog post that you're looking for there, just click the magnifying glass and go in. If you're looking for the history of all our Lean Publishing tips of the day, you can find them on our YouTube channel at Leanpub. You can find lots of other great videos there as well. Like there's some explainer videos, there's new release videos, there's lots of shorts. But the sort of key kind of anchor kind of videos there are our podcast videos and our book launch videos. I really love talking to authors. The podcast has been on a bit of a hiatus for a while after we launched kind of V3 of Leanpub and stuff like that. But we're back. I recorded 3 in the last week, and they'll be rolling out today, I hope, and then over the next couple of weeks. So here we are approaching the 2-minute mark. All right. Welcome to the 2-minute mark of the Lean Publishing Tip of the Day video. Today, we're going to be talking about reserving a seat for our full day workshop tomorrow on May 2nd. 2026 for anyone who may be watching this long in the future. Of course, we intend to continue doing Leanpub events and holding these workshops again in the future. So if you miss one, you can join another one in the future, and these will evolve over time. These are our first ones tomorrow, so we're really excited. You could find the Leanpub events on our homepage at leanpub.com, and then you just click on events at the top. The very first one that will be selected by default is our book workshop. That's happening tomorrow at 7 a.m. Pacific time. That's obviously 10 a.m. Eastern time, and then I think it's about 5 or 6 p.m. London time, and then it gets progressively later in the day as you go east in Europe. And it's North America and Europe where most of our authors are, but hopefully you'll find a time wherever you are in the world to attend. So the book workshop is going to be a 3-hour hands-on workshop with Peter doing most of the talking, but I'll be there too. This is basically, you can see it as kind of like an intro to Leanpub. You're going to, like, if you haven't created a book on Leanpub before, you will have created one with us by the end of it. We'll show you how to write, and we'll show you how to preview and all that kind of stuff. If you are an established Leanpub author, there's probably a lot for you to learn as well. There might be some things that you kind of missed along the way. There might be some things that you'll learn. There will be a Q&A session at the end, so you can ask Peter and me some questions. And so hopefully there's something for everyone to learn. Often one of the reasons we're doing this is that often book projects get stalled. So if you found you've been stalled on your book project and you just need a little bit of a boost to get going again, maybe this might be the best way to spend a couple of hours on a Saturday. If you scroll down, one thing we're sort of sensitive about is timing, because we do have authors all around the world, and we'd really love your feedback. So even if you can't or don't want to attend, because of the timing or something like that, if you could please just give us some feedback about dates and times that work for you and stuff like that in your time zone, that would really help us, pick some scheduled times in the future. So also tomorrow, we're going to be having our GhostAI workshop. If you're in kind of like startup tech world and GStack for books makes any sense to you, me saying those words, then this is definitely the workshop for you. If you're not, one thing that if you've been getting into the book world a little bit, one thing you may have already heard about or known about or may have learned about is ghostwriters. So ghostwriter is basically, you want a book, you're a person who wants to publish a book. You've got all kinds of great ideas. Maybe you've got a great, life behind you that you've lived, but you're not you don't really take yourself to be, a writer. One thing you can do is work with a ghostwriter to get a book written, and then the book will be published under your name. But it's typically quite clear that a book is ghost written. The ghostwriter might be acknowledged somewhere in the acknowledgments and that kind of stuff. Uh, but anyway, the ghostwriting is a sort of, like time honored convention. It's and one thing, you when you work with a ghostwriter, they don't just kind of write a book and then put your name on it. Like they work with you. It's your book. They do the kind of writing, and they'll do arranging and shaping and stuff like that. But you're the one with, typically with the ideas and the form and the insight, or again the life lived if it's an autobiography or a biography that's being written, something like that. Anyway, that's all a long way around of saying one of the things about having the very sophisticated AI tools like Claude available to you now is that you can actually use these to help you do all kinds of things. Famously, one of those things is coding now. But another one that thing that AI can really help you with, if it's organized correctly and you know how to use it correctly, is big projects like writing books. Um, and so what we've done is we've built a Claude skill called GhostAI that you can install, and then if you know how to use Claude, you can then use it on in your basically in your book repository, in the folder where you're keeping your book files. You can actually use it. It can read files. It can generate files. It can edit files. It can help you come. It can help. It can basically interview you, and then come up with proposals. And then it can create files, and then you can work with it to structure things. You can edit it. You can write it. You can give it your notes. You could potentially kind of walk around, doing voice memos, and then feed them into Ghost AI, and help get a book going that way. Help update an existing book that way, stuff like that. So this is actually a really very exciting thing. With both of these, you can get free tickets. So you can get a free ticket for Ghost AI, which is, oh, by the way, I didn't mention, it's from 11:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. So that'll be 2:30 p.m. in the afternoon Eastern, and about kind of 7:30, 8:30 at night in London. And so getting a little late in Europe there, obviously. But a really great way to spend 3 hours on a Saturday. There's also a free ticket for the book workshop, and you can register for both together if you do the full day workshop, which is sort of notionally what today's Lean Publishing Tip of the Day is about, because I've spoken separately earlier this week about the book workshop and the Ghost AI workshop. But you can reserve a seat for both together, and you can just get it for free if you want, which is great. Or you can get a pro ticket. A pro ticket comes with it costs $129, and you get. So the funny thing about these things is the way we're structuring these is that a pro ticket is $129, and what you get as a benefit is a 1-year pro author membership, which is worth $179. So if you were thinking of getting a pro author membership, you might as well just get a pro ticket to the full day workshop. And yeah, you'll be. It's kind of like, you can think of it just as a discount on that awesome service. But you'll also get, in that case, $129 credit towards our boot camp. Book Bootcamp. The Book Bootcamp is a very special thing. Again, that we'll be doing this for the first time. The idea is here that supporting authors in writing books in live events. We can do the kind of one-offs. Come to the book workshop. Come to the Ghost AI workshop. But with this boot camp, the idea was that over the course of what is it? I think it's 6 weeks. Yeah, 6 weeks. Each week there will be a 90-minute call that you'll have with Peter and/or me, and anyone else in your author cohort. And that way we can sort of like talk about your progress, talk about the blockers, talk about your successes, talk about what you've been working on since we last had a meeting, what you're going to be working on next. So you're kind of joining a cohort. The idea here is that you'll be joining a cohort of people who will be meeting with each other regularly to kind of help encourage progress and learning together in a book writing group. And so if you buy a full day workshop ticket, pro ticket, you'll actually get $129 off this. One of the really cool things about the book boot camp, so it's $2,000. It's a real commitment. I mean, it's six week meetings over 6 weeks that you're committing to. So, and then that's six meetings with us. So that's a lot of valuable time as well. But the great thing about it is that when you're done, you get a $1,999 service credit, and that is exactly the new prices for 3 of our really amazing pro services, published on Amazon, CourseAI Pro, and Global Author Standard. Publish on Amazon is kind of what it says. If you want to get your book in print, but you don't want to have to learn anything new or do anything or manage it, you just do it to give us authorization, and we go do it all for you, and then your book is available in print on Amazon. You can do CourseAI Pro, where if you've written a nonfiction book, when your book is done, we could just turn it into an online course, which typically you can sell for some multiple of what your ordinary book would sell for. This is ideal for people kind of getting in their business development hours for the year, using their corporate credit cards, things like that. And then there's Global Author Standard, which is a little bit more unique. I won't go into that right now, but that's a very cool, interesting service. You can find all those services if you just click Services on the Leanpub homepage in the top menu that you can find on most Leanpub pages, and just click on Global Author if you want to learn about what that is. So just going back to our full-day workshop, it's tomorrow. So if you want to reserve a seat, do it today. There are free tickets. And we just, we'd love to talk to as many people as we can. There are also pro tickets, which are a really great deal. Writing a book takes a while. If you're going to be committing to a platform like Leanpub, probably getting a paid membership is a really good idea to unlock certain features and stuff like that. Yeah. And so I think that's all I'm going to talk about today. Thanks to everyone for watching, and for the couple people who attended live. Thank you for doing that. We're really excited about these Leanpub events. Please sign up if you're interested at all. If you're interested in doing some intensive hours. I mean, my belief, when Peter was asking me we did a kind of mock session yesterday, and we pretended to be attendees. And when Peter asked me, what's your reason for being here? Mine was basically, and this comes from my own, life experience, was like, at the beginning of a process where you're doing something like, say, writing a book using a self-publishing platform, if you can get 3 hours of time with the kind of people who built it, with the experts who know it, that will probably dramatically improve your ability to succeed in whatever you're doing, and to be good at it and to do well at it. The analogies I like to use, and these again from my own life, is, for example, I used to study a form of Kung Fu, and I got to meet a couple of true masters, and see them a little bit in action. And my goodness, when you've actually seen a master at something do something, it communicates something to you about what it means to actually be very good at it. And so sort of seeing people who, like, Peter and me, who, built Leanpub, and we really know how everything works, being able to ask us direct questions, stuff like that. If you're planning on spending tens to hundreds of hours, on your book project, including the writing and the publishing and the marketing and, talking events, stuff like that. If you're going to be spending all that time, spending a few hours at the beginning with experts who really know what they're doing, and to whom you can ask questions and stuff like that, is incredibly valuable. I imagine, I once saw, a sort of aerial display at an American football game where a Navy SEAL parachuted in, and it was like, you just knew that this person was a master at what they were doing. If you're a real dancer, for example, I'm sure it's the same kind of thing. So in any case, that was the kind of romantic analogy I gave for or the example I gave for why would someone like me attend a workshop like this. Seeing experts using their thing intensively for a few hours is just kind of an invaluable use of your time if you're going to be engaging in the same kind of thing. So go to leanpub.com, click on events at the top. You'll find it should be easy to register for a book workshop, GhostAI Workshop, or what I was talking about today, the full day workshop. So hope to see as many of you as possible tomorrow.